young girl, scarcely 16. Thanks to my parents, lots of places I've seen, but never a place that I love as well as my Virgil home 'neath the maiden tea hill. My Virgil home, that heaven of mine, the home of my parents, so loving and kind. I love them so, and I always will. And my Virgil home 'neath the maiden tea hill. The harbor's so pretty in the morning sunshine, as the seabirds and robins their sweet notes entwine. The fishing goes shiny in the water so still, here in my home 'neath the maiden tea hill. When I had trouble or if I was sad, I always found comfort from good friends I had. They knew that I loved them and I always will. And my Virgil home 'neath the maiden tea hill. My Virgil home, that heaven of mine, the home of my parents, so loving and kind. I love them so, and I always will. And my Virgil home 'neath the maiden tea hill. With her fishery failing, I may have to roam. Dear God, how I'd hate to leave my dear home, but each night in memory, sure I'll see it still. My Virgil home 'neath the maiden tea hill. My Virgil home, that heaven of mine, the home of my parents, so loving and kind. I love them so, and I always will. And my Virgil home 'neath the maiden tea hill.
Good evening. Welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include these stories and more coming up after this.
Close your eyes and imagine. Go with it. Activate. Switch. Every day. Living. Switch on. Participation. Moving your way every day.
Last Thursday, the official signing of the Phase 1 contract for Zone 9, the Long Range Regional Economic Development Board, was signed at the Holiday Inn in Stephenville. I was present last week for the official signing.
Head table guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure on behalf of the Long Range Red Board to welcome you here tonight to the signing of the performance contract for Phase 1. First of all, I will introduce to you our head table guests. To my immediate left, Roger Simmons, MP for St. George's. Next to Roger, Judy Hood, Minister of Development and Rural Renewal. Bill Ramsey, Member for Virgil-Pyle. Gerald Smith, Member for Port Stephen O'East. Sylvia Alexander, Vice Chair, Long Range Red Board. And last but not least, Kevin Aylward, Minister of Environment and Labelling. Before proceeding, I just want to give you a brief overview of the process that we've gone through the last little more than a year in terms of the Regional Economic Development Board, now known as the Long Range Board for this region. The Provisional Board, the provisional board was set up initially as a steering committee, basically, to set in place and develop the infrastructure for the implementation of the permanent RID board. And the provisional board was ratified on June 12, 1995. A performance contract was presented to Dr. Doug House on September 26, 1995. That was the first draft of our performance contract for the phase 1 of the permanent board. That contract was reviewed on February 26, 96, or rather 21st, 96, and it was signed on March 15, 1996. The first meeting of the permanent board was held on April 25th, and we're having the official signing today, July the 11th. And this is the official signing, and I think it's a major milestone along the way in the process of renewed regional economic development in this region. Next on the agenda is the real signing. We had a mock-up already for the media. We're going to have the real signing now, and I call on Roger and Judy to do the real thing.
Going to invite our colleagues from the House of Assembly to be the witnesses on these. Or Kevin, would you please?
I don't get to sign my name 8 times. I do one.
All those extras will tire you out anyway, so.
You're telling your age after you
Quick. Gerald, would you mind witnessing Paul's?
No, you may.
Also, during the signing, some people were presented with certificates for their help on the provisional board. Deputy Mayor Gord Tucker was presented with a certificate of appreciation for his role on the provisional board. Alistair Hand will be serving as Burgio's representative on the permanent board. During the signing, I had an opportunity to speak with Honourable Judy Foote, Minister of Development and Rural Renewal. I'm speaking with Judy Foote, Minister of Development and Rural Renewal. We're here today for the signing of the Phase 1 performance contract for Zone 9, the Long Range Regional Economic Development Board. What does this signing mean for the zone?
Well, we've come to a stage now in the zone where we're ready to move on planning the 5-year strategic economic plan. The money will now start flowing into the zone to enable the board members to hire staff to get the process up and running.
You're the minister responsible for the zonal process. Is Zone 9 on stream with other zones across the province?
Indeed, Zone 9 was one of the first to be established, and I'm delighted to see the caliber of individuals that are serving on that board, and we're looking forward to great things from them because I'm sure the accomplishments are going to be tremendous for this area.
It was mentioned today that Zone 9 will be moving from a provisional board to a permanent board. What are the duties of this new board as compared to the board formerly in place?
Well, the provisional board that has just finished, in fact, brought together all the disparate groups in the area, came out with the terms of the contract that they've entered into with the province and with the federal government. Now it was a part of that whole process to elect the members of the permanent board. So in fact, the provisional board members have now either some of them moved on to the permanent board and others have figured they've done their bit, so they're not on the board anymore. The permanent board will now take the process from here, and that means the planning of the 5-year strategic economic plan for the region.
Okay, can you tell us the purpose of setting up the zone boards across the province?
The whole idea is to try and get us looking at economic development in this province. We all know that we need to turn the future of the province around from an economic perspective. How best to do that if not to talk to the people who know best what their strengths and their weaknesses are and what their opportunities are, to say, we want you to take the lead. You know what's best for your area, so let's take a whole new approach to business development here in this province. Instead of the government telling you what's best for you, you tell us what you'd like to see happen. You plan your strategic economic plans for your region.
Okay, and does it seem like it's working?
It does indeed. I've been very impressed with what I've seen to date, and I'm sure we're going to see great things coming out of all of 20 economic zones.
Okay, well, we'd like to thank you very much for speaking with us today.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
As August quickly approaches, plans are being finalized for this year's Sand and Sea Festival. This year's Sand and Sea Festival is less than 2 weeks away, and it promises to be as exciting and enjoyable as last year. This year's festival will feature several bands at Sandbanks Provincial Park, including MT Pockets, Black Satin, and Burgeo's own local band, the Coasters. There will be preteen, teenage, and adult dances. As well, there are activities planned for all to enjoy during the 4-day event. Next week, we will have a complete lineup of events as well as their dates, times, and where they will be happening. Stay with us. There's more of This Week in Review still to follow.
This is Megan of the War Amps Child Amputee Program. She lost her arm in a car accident. How would you feel if you had been the driver who hit her?
Let's all drive safe.
A message from the War Amps Drive Safe program.
The Anglican Church held their church fair on Thursday of last week. Here are a few highlights from this year's church fair. Some of the carpentry students from Centrac College are doing their on-the-job training at Sandbanks Provincial Park. They are replacing and upgrading the walking trails throughout the park. Walking along the beaches of Sandbanks Park is a favorite pastime for some, but the walking trails offer a peaceful getaway for many. Walking these trails is easier now thanks to the work of carpentry students who are repairing the platforms already in place on the walking trails, as well as installing new walkways in some areas. The path from Cow Hill onto the sand has been replaced. The last few winters have changed this area, making the old walkway dangerous to pedestrians. This new walkway offers a lovely view of the beach and the ocean. Russell's Path is currently being worked on. The wooden walkways are being repaired and railings are being put up in some areas. Park workers are also busy bringing gravel for the remaining sections of the path. The volleyball court is now easier to access. A set of steps that were removed from another area were placed on the bank to make it easier to access this beach. In addition to the walking trails, work should soon be getting underway on the Comfort Station dumping station for the park. The station is going to be constructed here, close to the park officer's cabin. Job postings for a 4-person and 5 carpenter laborers to install the sewage system and construct the building closed on Friday. Work on this building is scheduled to begin around August 5th. Work is continuing this summer on the roadway and the leveling of land at the community cemetery. The road leading to the Burgeo Community Cemetery has been upgraded, and the parking area just clear of the fence has been expanded to accommodate about a dozen more vehicles. The work on the road through the cemetery will continue from where it ended last year. The road will turn towards the shed and will be extended about 50 to 75 feet. The land adjacent to the road will be leveled up as well. Also, the road leading to the United Cemetery has also been upgraded and a turnaround has been installed in front of the cemetery gate. Stay with us, there's more of This Week in Review still to follow.
I sometimes has to leave town unexpected, like on business. Yeah, business. But I make sure my house is safe. I follow the tips in this brochure the IBC puts out. Louis the Rockman neighbor here collects my newspapers. And I make sure that the tools are locked away real secure like. Fingers Al is a bit of an expert with locks. Lefty rigged the gizmo to turn lights on and off so that people think he's home. We play it safe. After all, you can't trust everyone. I'm out of here.
For more information on tips to protect your home against burglary, write for IBC's free brochure.
Off the rack. This week as we scanned our tape racks, we came across a video of the antique display that was held in the gymnasium of A.J. Matthews School during the spring of 1987. Here's an excerpt from that program as George Bell Ingram shows us how to make a birch broom.
And you still continue to do that?
Yeah.
What, more or less for pastime, or is there a demand for them?
Well, yeah, well, I'm told to sell them, but most thing I do at winter times, but that's something pastime more for anything else. Because they're hard to get sticks around here, see?
Where would you have to go and get your sticks then now?
I would say going, what? I would say 50 miles if we could get the small birch pretty good for making broomsticks, wouldn't you?
Well, I wouldn't know. I've run the broom though, just the same. You know.
Oh, you made brooms, did you?
Not very many, but I know, you know, I've tried it and I made one, I know, but I don't have the skill not to do it.
Everybody's made them years ago.
Yes. They used to be made in the kitchen. I remember my father running them in the kitchen. And, you know, it was an awful mess, of course.
Nobody.
But,
I don't know in the kitchen now. And you just sweep it up on the camera,
yes.
And this camera right on you.
But the ones that come off, you see, I've seen, although I could never do it, make stars out of them, you know?
You make a ring out of them.
Yes, and
I'd tell you another thing. When I was a boy, everybody, you go in everybody's house for smoke. 50 people smoke pipe. Have a bottle tied up over
yes.
for dry for lighting pipe was.
Yes, I've seen that too, yes. Yes.
One of them shavings.
Of course, they had the ideal cook stoves or the our own stoves with the big grates on them, and you'd light it from there, right? Yeah. Yes. Now, you got that much done. What about turning to your other end? Now that you were doing Saturday night, and you have it all.
Yeah,
when do you say you're finished there?
Yeah, well, you got to run right down for fancy, don't you?
What do you mean running right down? What do you mean by that?
Both sides of your finger there, the last piece, and it cuts off that stump, see?
Oh, yes.
Huh?
Mm-hmm. And when you get that done, all of this done, what do you do then? How do you proceed with your broom then?
Turns around and runs this way and turns the brushes back over.
That's the inside part then?
Yeah, and you really want those brushes here. About half inch longer than the other, so they come it over for it to look good. Eh?
Wait, a little bit longer, you said?
Yeah, a little bit longer than the other one, see? Yeah. And then when you get some finish, I always take one like me and it turns them in like getting, you see, notice how the brooms I had made was laying turned in like almost like a roll thing.
Yes.
But not too many people.
But you do that yourself.
Not too many people do that, but I do just make them look well out the way.
Yeah. Now you're pulling up the long ones, the outside ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. How long will it take you to run a broom?
Well, one of the big ones, for making good, and the time I start at and so I finish it, take me over 2 hours, 2 hours and a half. Yeah, but I can do past that, but I like to try to do it a little bit after the way.
Oh yes, well it's hard, isn't it? And,
If you're going to do something, I figure just well, try to do it the best you can, eh?
Yes. Well, that's really wonderful. Many of the young people here today have never seen anybody run a broom. You don't have to do that kind of stuff today.
No. No, sir.
Yes. It's really probably... Yeah, this is the finished product here. You know, but it's not George Bill's handiwork. But it's a finished product. After you get it all run down, what do you do with the handle? You chop it out? Or?
Chopped it with axe, and then I planes them down, see? And there was a saw around there, but I take mine this way, see, like that, and cuts it, you know, so make it look better, you know, cut around there.
Yeah.
And then they get the pocket knife. You see the saw on that and chop it down. It don't look too well that way.
No.
BBS Playbill. Tune in on Tuesday at 7 p.m. for a rebroadcast of Fortune Sounds. Join us on Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. for Propeller Performance from the DFO Video Library. On Thursday at 7:30 p.m. we will have the signing of the Phase 1 contract for Zone 9 in its entirety. And I'll be here again next week with This Week in Review. Next week's program will be followed by the second part of Stuffed Squid. Stay tuned now for Fortune Sounds. This video was filmed at the Orange Lodge last week. We hope you enjoy it. For This Week in Review, I'm Dave Cooper. Good night.